Hey guys, welcome back to Unit 3, Part 3 of your video notes. We're going to be focusing on the eye and how our eye is structured and the functions of it. So first we are going to look at some of the structures, which first includes your sclera. And this is the white outer part of the eye that helps maintain the shape and protects you from any of the injuries. Next, you guys have your iris, which is the colored part of the eye. Then your pupil, which is the opening in the center that appears to be black. The cornea, which is the clear membrane just in front of the eye. And it helps bend light falling on the surface enough to focus it. And then we have our lens, which is a transparent and somewhat flexible disc-shaped structure filled with a gelatin-like material, which also the curve can decrease as we get older and need prettier glasses. This helps with focus and seeing things up close. Here are some of the other structures that you guys will need to know, and we're going to go more into them in a few moments. Here's an image. On the left, you guys have an eye facing like over your right shoulder if you had this video in front of you, and then you have an eye looking straight at you. You also have your retina, which is a multi-layered light-sensitive surface in the eye that records the electromagnetic energy and converts it into impulses and getting it to your thalamus. Rods and cones are both receptor cells. However, cones see color, C and C, and rods are helpful for when you're in areas where you're sensitive to light or it's very dim. And then here is another image of how an object would look from your eye and then how it actually goes into your brain. And again, here's another one. Which, who would have thought all this stuff happens in our eyes? In the later part of the eye, it goes from your retina to the bipolar cells to the ganglion cells, and then the optic nerve. And what I want for you guys to do is define bipolar and define ganglion cells, and make sure you get those down, because they are super important. Next, you have your optic nerve, which is a structure in the back of the eye, which is made up of ganglion cells that carries information to the back. And then you have your blind spot. It's where you have your retina and the optic nerve leaves the eye to head towards your brain, and you can't see anything because our brain uses top-down processing to fill in those gaps. And we're going to do an example in class where you guys will find your blind spots, which everyone has them. If you are able to see and don't have any damage to your optic nerves, you can find your blind spot. I promise you, it is not impossible. It takes a couple tries, but once you get it, you get it. Visual processing in the brain. Our eyes start it. It goes to the brain. That sends the neural impulses and analyzes everything. And then the optic chiasm is a point in the brain where the optic nerve fibers divide, and approximately half of the nerve fibers cross over the midline. Visual processing. If you guys look at the image on the right, if you're looking at these runners, you see the lady in or the man in the black sweater. In your left visual field, and you see the lady on the right in your right visual field, but when you bring them into your eyes, they go back and then they cross over. So they flip and the image is upside down. So really, when we are looking at everyone, we're assuming they're right side up, but they're not. The visual cortex is where most of the information is sent here before going anywhere else. It's located within your occipital lobe, which you guys should know is the most important lobe for vision. And it's part of the cerebral cortex when it does involve vision. Feature detectors always make me laugh because the definition is pretty much that it detects features. Neurons in the brain's visual systems that respond to particular features of a stimulus. They detect specific features. So, one of the examples that I like to use for feature detectors is just as simple as, you're going for a bike ride or for a walk and you might see smoke and you might be like, hey, I see this weird shape that looks like a man hiding in the woods. I might be in danger. You're detecting a specific feature. This is a Nobel Peace Prize winning research in feature detectors, which there's a really important piece that you guys need to write down here. But it just talks about how they found something within cats that helps. But my little trick for remembering the order at which light enters the eyes is, get ready for it because you need to write it down somewhere on this paper and highlight it. Can people in London read French? Really cool Brits get other nations. And that's cornea, pupil/iris, lens, retina, rod/cones, bipolar, ganglion cells, optic nerve. So, I hope you guys have a great day and enjoy these notes.